8 people are dead and at least 11 injured after a truck mowed down pedestrians and cyclists and rammed into a school bus in Lower Manhattan on Tuesday afternoon. The suspect, 29-year-old Saifullah Habibullajevic Saipov, is in police custody. The first 5 people killed were identified as friends from Argentina in New York to celebrate the 30th anniversary of their graduation. One Belgian was also among the dead. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio called the incident an act of terror. New York, at least 8 people were killed and 11 people injured Tuesday afternoon after a man drove a Home Depot rental truck down a bike path in Lower Manhattan in New York City, striking several people, authorities said. According to police, the driver went down the wrong way of a bike path on the West Side Highway, hitting pedestrians and cyclists. He then rammed into a Stuyvesant High School bus, injuring 2 adults and 2 children. One of the children is in critical condition, a New York Department of Education official confirmed. The suspect then exited the vehicle brandishing what police described as imitation firearms, later identified as a paintball gun and a pellet gun. A police officer then confronted and shot the driver, who was then transported to the hospital. This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror, aimed at innocent civilians, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said during a press conference Tuesday evening. Law enforcement officials later identified 29-year-old Saifullah Habibullajevic Saipov as the driver. Saipov, whom various media reported as an Uzbek national who immigrated to the U.S. legally in 2010, is now in police custody at a local hospital. Law enforcement said Saipov most recently lived in Tampa, Florida. An address from 2015 linked to Saipov's name was also found in Stow, Ohio. According to the New York Times and NBC, a handwritten note in Arabic declaring allegiance to ISIS was found near the suspect's rental truck. The militant group has not yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but some of its supporters took to social media to celebrate it. The FBI and the New York Police Department are investigating the incident. NYPD Commissioner James P. O'Neill did not confirm reports the suspect had yelled Allahu Akbar upon exiting the vehicle, but said the suspect had made a statement that was consistent with a terror attack. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said at the same press conference that while there was no evidence to suggest a wider plot or a wider scheme, NYPD planned to increase its presence throughout the city out of an abundance of caution. Authorities said the city's annual Halloween parade would still go on as planned with heightened security. Melissa Henry, Assistant Director of Public Affairs for Bellevue Hospital Center, confirmed to HuffPost that 5 patients had been transported to the hospital. Security was tight at the hospital in the hours following the shooting, with many police on the scene. At least 5 Argentinians were among those killed in the attack, according to the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The first victims were identified as Hernan Mendoza, Diego Angelini, Alejandro Panuco, Ariel Urli, and Hernan Ferrucci. The compatriots, from the city of Rosario, were part of a group of friends celebrating the 30th anniversary of their graduation from the Polytechnic School of that city when the tragic event occurred, the Argentinian government said. One Belgian was killed in the attack, Didier Reynders, the country's deputy prime minister, said on Twitter. 3 other Belgians were also wounded. The use of vehicles as weapons in terror attacks is a frequent tactic for extremists, who have used it to kill over 100 people in Europe in recent years. The self-described Islamic State has long advocated for its supporters to carry out such attacks, and has featured them heavily in its propaganda. In response to such attacks, governments have considered a wide range of defensive measures, including installing protective netting that can trap tires, and putting stricter regulations on vehicle rentals. Cities have also added barriers such as concrete blocks and security bollards to protect heavily populated areas from trucks and cars. New York City for years has been aware of the possibility of vehicle attacks, and redesigned its Times Square to add more bollards based on recommendations in 2012 from a counterterrorism official. But, as attacks in Europe have shown, it is impossible to secure every soft target and area of a city. Nip John Williams, a 22-year-old Brooklyn College student, said he arrived on the scene near Stuyvesant High School just after the crash had taken place. He told HuffPost he heard at least 5 very fast gunshots. I heard people yelling, "He's got a gun! He's got a gun!" said Williams. Williams said he saw a man being arrested and another man, who looked like he had been shot, laying on the GR.